Hello, everyone. Welcome to Clasital's IELTS Academic Reading session. Today, we are going to solve some matching questions. How is everyone? How are you? Let me see. 2, 4, 6. 9 students. Very good. Today, we are going to do some reading. I have some questions. Also, I have some tips and strategies that I'm going to share with you. Oopsie. Here. I hope everyone is well. How is the IELTS preparation going? Yes. Yes, hello to everyone from a beautiful December day. I have just started. When is your IELTS exam? I'm asking to everyone actually. 7 January. Nice, you have exactly 1 month. Depending on your English level, 1 month can be enough. Or if you need more preparation, we advise you to enroll to start working like 3 months before the exam. But it depends on you. It depends on your English level and how you're if you're used to solving this kind of problems or not. Okay, let's start. Where am I? Here. Yes. Today I'm going to share with you some tips and strategies. Then we have two passages. Both are from passage 2. The first one is second attempt at domesticating the tomato. And the second one is palm oil. Mina, let me see. Where are you? Okay, the question comes as like there will be some statements, and you should match the statement with the paragraphs like this. It says here, which section contains the following information. So it is matching info question, and it says write the correct letter A to E in the boxes, and it says you may use any letter more than once. So A, B, C, D, E. We have 5 questions, but A, B, C, D, E. Yes. Yes. So we may use any letter more than once, and it is made obvious in the question. It is so important to read the question. These statements can be descriptions, some facts, some opinions, predictions, reasons, anything related to that paragraph. We are supposed to write the correct letter next to the question number on the answer sheet. If you are taking the paper-based exam, if you are taking the computer-based exam, you are going to do like we will do today. Yes, write the correct letter to the blank at the end of each statement. This is how we are solving this problem. So some tips. The statements are not in the same order as the text. What does it mean? So first it can be E, it can be B, this can be F, this can be C, and it can go like this. So they are not in order. Some paragraphs may contain a statement, may not contain a statement. In other words, you don't have to use every paragraph for this part. Maybe they didn't give any information about the paragraph B. Maybe they didn't, maybe they are giving 2 statements for 1 paragraph, and it goes like this. Yes. Mm, this type of question require us to read the whole passage, actually the whole paragraph, because we don't know where we can find the solution. So we are not going to read them like truly, but we are going to skim the whole passage to find our answer, and we will be careful. So because that we need to read the whole passage, you can, of course, we can read the question first and highlight the keywords and the ideas, and we can look at the small details. For example, it can say uh, an example of something, an explanation of something, some things like that. You can leave this part for the last, and while you are doing the other questions, you will know where to look at for this kind of questions. So when you leave it to last, you may find it easier to locate the answers in your passage. For the strategy 2, you should read the questions to understand their meanings, not only keywords, but the meaning, understand the meaning of it. And these keywords, the meanings can be given to you with some synonyms and paraphrasing. Most probably, they will give you them as synonyms and paraphrasing. So keep your eyes open. Yes, we will use skimming and scanning to find the keywords, and you can do this question type first so you will know what the passage is about, and you can do other questions more easily. Keep in mind, the statements can be detailed in a paragraph rather than included in the main idea, so do not confuse this type of question with the matching headings. Headings is like matching the headings is more like the understanding the main idea, but it can be like about a sentence in it, or it can be like we are looking for any information in the passage, so it can be just one sentence. Still, of course, you can guess it from the main idea of the paragraph. And some statements are harder to find than others. You can skip them and keep them in mind. Then, while you are doing the other question, you can go back when you think that you find that answer. So, these kind of questions are a little bit time consuming. That is the problem of this question type. Other than that, it is not that difficult, as you will see. Do you have any question, or I will proceed with our reading passage? Okay, reading passage 2. You should spend 20 minutes about the passage below. Write the correct letter A to E in the boxes 14 to 18. You may use any letter more than once. Come on. 14. A reference to a type of tomato that can resist a dangerous infection. Okay, so we are analyzing the question first. A reference, so someone is saying something about a type of tomato. Maybe they are giving the name of that type of tomato in the passage, most probably. That can resist to a dangerous infection. Maybe they are giving the name of this dangerous infection in the passage. So they are like just general sentences, general statements. When we see them, we can assume that, for example, a reference to a type of tomato, maybe they will give this, maybe they will give the name of that tomato, and maybe they will give the name of that dangerous infection. 15. An explanation of how problems can arise from focusing only a certain type of tomato plant. So again, maybe they will give the name of that certain type of tomato plant. An explanation. So they are going to explain us how problems can arise. For example, they will say, if you plant this tomato and if you keep growing them, it will cause this. 16. A number of examples. We are going to see examples. So they are going to see not just one, but more than one example. A number of examples of plants that are not cultivated at present. Very good. They are going to talk about the past, but could be used as food resources. So I can assume that the paragraph will be written in past tense because let me see, can arise, can resist, could be useful. So that may most probably they will be talking about something happened in the past. So they will use past tense. A comparison between the early domestication of tomato and more recent research. Nice. A personal reaction. So a person, a human being, most probably will give an opinion about the flavor of a tomato has been genetically edited. Edit. What can I use instead of edit? Let's look at the synonyms. Edit, changed, mutation, something about the mutation of a gene. Altered, very good. Modification, yes. Hybrid, yes, it can be, very good. A personal reaction. Okay, let's see. Let me send you the questions so you can follow it because I will start from the A, B, C, D, and I will go on like this. So keep an eye on the questions, and I will go on from this. It took 300 years for humans cultivate food. Now, past, present. Now, two separate teams in Brazil and China have done it all over again in less than 3 years. And they have done it better in some ways, as the domesticated tomatoes are more nutritious than the ones that we eat at present. This approach relies on the revolutionary blah blah gene deliberately made of DNA, allowing genetic materials to be added, something, removed, altered. This technique could not only improve existing crops but could also be used to turn thousands of wild plants into useful and appealing foods. In fact, a third team, ground cherry, nice. This fast-track domestication could help make the world's food supply healthier and far more resistant to diseases such as the rust fungus and devastating weed crops. This could transform what we eat. Someone says there are blah blah edible plants, but 90% of our energy comes from just 15 crops. We can now mimic the known domestication course of major crops like rice, maize, sorghum, or others, says someone. Then we might try to domesticate plants that have never been domesticated. Transmutation, grunter, first one answer. Oh, so you are saying 14. I can understand why you are saying 14 because it says that can resist a dangerous infection. A type of tomato, but it says a type of tomato, but here they are talking about the tomatoes in tomato mutation in general. So there is no reference to a type of tomato. They are talking about it generally. So it can be 14 small details. An explanation of how problems can arise from focusing on them? No. A number of examples of plants that are not cultivated at present but could be used as food resources. Hmm. I'm thinking about 16. But they are but they are I'm not sure about the 16. Let's continue with 17. A comparison between the early domestication of the tomato and more recent research. A personal reaction to the flavor? No. So I think. So what do you think? What can it be? Maybe we won't use A. Keep that in mind too. But let's make a guess. For the 16, it says a number of example of plants that are not cultivated at present, but in here they are talking about, but they are not giving any example for it. They are just saying it, but they are not giving examples. And we have already we are already using rice, maize, sorghum, and others. So I will put, let me see the questions. Yes, they compare here they compare the 3,000 years, and they are not comparing the techniques that are they use now. So I can assume that it's a long paragraph. I can assume that there's a comparison between them. So I will say A. And questions? Relative of tomato called grand cherry. Let's continue with paragraph B. Wild tomatoes produce pea-sized fruits. Over many generations, people such as Aztec and Incas transformed plants by selecting and breeding plants with mutations in their genetic structure, which resulted in desirable traits such as larger fruits. But every time a single plant with a mutation is taken from a large population for breeding, much genetic diversity is lost. But every time a single plant with a mutation is taken from a larger population for breeding, much genetic diversity is lost. And sometimes the desirable mutation come with less desirable traits. For instance, the tomato strains grown for supermarkets have lost much of their flavor. By comparing genetics changes, biologists are working on them. The teams in blah blah reintroduce these changes from scratch while maintaining or even enhancing the desirable traits of wild strain. We have 18B. What do you think? A personal reaction. There is no personal reaction here. Who is giving the personal reaction? Aztecs. Or the writer. But the writer doesn't say anything about it. The writer just say that it can be. Oopsie. Writer says that there can be. Writer is talking about a general fact. But how about the others? What do you think? $15. An explanation of how problems can arise from focusing only a certain type of tomato plant. I'm giving you time to read and answer, by the way, so you can understand how do we solve this problem. How do we solve this question type? A reference to wild tomatoes. A reference to a type of tomato that can resist a dangerous infection. Which dangerous infection? Kushal says 15B2. Yes, I think so too. An explanation of how problems can arise from focusing only one certain type of tomato plant. In here it says wild tomato. But every time a single plant with a mutation is taken from a larger population for breeding, much genetic diversity is lost. And they are giving an example. For instance, the tomato strains grown for supermarkets have lost much of their flavor. Maybe they are looking at there are some more important things like the shelf life and blah blah something. Maybe like the appearance of the tomato, because people are more tend to buy like the perfect tomatoes, but it says they have lost much of their flavor. So 15B. Yes. Let's continue with C. Kudla's team made 6 changes altogether. For example, blah blah, fruit weight and increased number of tomatoes per truss by editing another called multiflora. While the historical domestication of tomatoes reduced the level of red pigment lycopene, thought to have potential health benefits, the team in Brazil managed to boost it instead. The wild tomato has twice as much lycopene, I don't know, as cultivated ones. The newly domesticated one has 5 times as much. So they boost the redness in the tomatoes, in this tomato strain. They are quite tasty, says Kudla. A little bit strong and very aromatic. The team in China redomesticated several strains of wild tomatoes with desirable traits lost in domesticated tomatoes. In this way, they managed to create a strain resistant to a common disease called bacterial spot race, which can devastate yields. They also created another strain that is more salt tolerant and has higher levels of vitamin C. Let me. Mariam says 18C, 18C, 14, 14. What was 14? Let me. A reference to a type of tomato that can resist a dangerous infection. Yes, here we can see this example. It is here. They are strain resist to a common disease called bacterial spot race. A reference to a type of tomato that can resist a dangerous infection. A personal reaction to the flavor of a tomato that has been genetically edited. Because I can use any letter more than once, I can use C in 14 and 18. Let's continue. C, B, A, C. One left. A number of examples of plants that are not cultivated at present but could be used as food sources. D. I'm looking at the, now I have one is left, so I am looking for the, let me copy and paste it. 16. So now I have more options. Oops. Okay, there are some examples, but for the first time. So what do you think? For 16, a number of examples of plants that that are not cultivated at present but could be useful as food resources. Very good. Because it says the three teams already have their eye on other plants that could be catapulted into mainstream, including foxtail, oatgrass, and cowpea. By choosing wild plants that are drought or heat tolerant, says Gao, we could create crops that will thrive even as the planet warms. Very good. So in here, they are giving examples. So we can say E. Nice. Now, as a completary, I have some complete the sentence question. I want to add this. An undesirable trait, such as loss of something, may be caused by a mutation in a tomato gene. Do you remember this one? A tomato is losing something. Do you remember what is it? Where was it? In the sentence completion question. Fraud? What is fraud? Fruit? No. I forgot. Hmm. Hmm. Flavor, yes. It is here. Oh, let me send you the questions. It is here, but every time a single plant with a mutation is taken from a larger population, blah blah, much genetic diversity is lost. And sometimes the desirable mutation come with less desirable traits. For instance, the tomato strain grown for supermarkets have lost much of their flavor. So my answer is flavor. And undesirable traits such as loss of flavor. You can write it with capital letters or small letters, it doesn't matter. 25. By modifying one gene in a tomato plant, researchers made the tomato 3 times its original. We can guess it from the sentence size. Let me write it with small letters. Size 3 times original. P size. Hmm. Where is it? Because I know that I have read it somewhere. It says like tripled the size. Do you see it? Maybe I don't see it. See first line? Let me see. Yes, thank you. Kudla's team made 6 changes altogether. For instance, they tripled the size of fruit of the fruit, size of the fruit by editing a gene called blah 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 blah. So yes, it is size. A type of tomato which has not badly affected by something and was rich in vitamin C was produced by a team of researchers in China. I know that one. Yes. The team China re-domesticated several strains of tomatoes. Blah, blah, blah. In this way, they managed to create a strain resistant community. They also created another strain that is more salt tolerant and has higher levels of vitamin C. Do we all agree on that? Very good. Very good. Next passage. Let's continue with the next one. So, yes, as you can see, this is time consuming, but for example, what can you do? Yes, finding information was difficult. Let me say you what you can do. When I am solving the passages, I am reading all the questions. I am reading 13 questions all together. So I am trying to keep them in mind so I know which information is asked to me. So when you have read the 13 questions all together, you know where to look, and you keep an eye on the answers. So do not just read the information, like matching questions, but read all of the questions so you will notice an answer when you read it. I know it can be a little bit confusing, but this is my style. You can try and find your own style too. Maybe you get too confused when you read all the questions. Maybe this method will work for you, but you should practice and find your own style. But I can say maybe I can give you this tip, but it is up to you, as I said. Let's continue. I think so too. Maybe not that difficult, but it is time consuming. Yes, palm oil. In this part, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oof. Reading passage 2 has 8 sections, A to H, which following information, write the correct letter A to H in boxes 14 to 20 on your answer sheet. As you can see, there is no expression saying that you can use any letter more than once. So it means we can use letters only once. We can use each letter only once. Examples, nice. I am going to see some examples of a range of potential environmental advantages of oil palm tree cultivation. Okay, environmental advantages. I'm going to see some examples. Description of an organization which controls the environmental impact of palm oil production. Nice. I'm going to see an organization. I'm going to read about an organization. Examples, very good, of the widespread global use of palm oil. So they are going to give examples of the usage of palm oil in the global scale. Reference to a particular species which could benefit the ecosystem of the oil palm plantations. Very good. Reference to a particular species. So maybe I'm going to read about an animal, most probably. 18. The figures. Figures means, what is it? Figures illustrating the rapid expansion of the palm oil industry. By figures, they mean numbers, data, numbers. Very good. Yes. When they say figures, maybe it can be a bar chart or something, but it is difficult to see a bar chart here. Maybe in this question type, I don't know the other type of question they gave. We have 7 questions. So how many questions left? Like there are 7 or 8 questions left. 6 or 7 questions is left. Maybe they will give you a diagram, and I'm just like making it up. This is just possibilities. These are just possibilities. They will give you a diagram, and maybe they will ask you to complete the diagram with the numbers. This is just an option. Maybe they don't. An economic justification for not opposing the palm oil industry. So I'm going to read about economy. Examples of creatures badly affected by the establishment of oil palm plantations. Okay, I have observed one thing here. What do you see in the questions? There is one trait that is similar, like here. Badly affected, benefits. Environmental advantages. What do you see? What is the resemblance between the options? Let me say it. Yes, we have examples, and I can see that we have lots of examples, descriptions, figures, and something. And also, I can see that some some statements are like pointing out to a positive thing, while some are pointing to negative impacts or palm oil production of palm oil. So I have positive statements and negative statements. So it can ease my job here. Let's see. Oh, let me send you the questions before I forget it. Let's start from A. Palm oil is an edible oil derived from a fruit of African oil palm tree, and it is currently the most consumed vegetable oil in the world. It's almost certainly in the soap, and we wash in the soap we wash with in the morning, the sandwiches we have for lunch, the biscuits and snacks during the day. So why is so attractive? Primarily because its unique properties, such as remaining solid at room temperature, make it an ideal ingredient for long-term preservation, allowing many packaged foods on supermarket shelves to have best before days of months, even years into the future. Fruit. Ooh, contradicting ideas. C. A. 16. You're saying 16. Examples of widespread global use of palm oil. Yes. I think this was obvious. Where is it? Yes, here. Oops. Try to try to pay attention to the big letter. Maybe they are maybe this is not important, but I wouldn't risk it. Write it with capital letters. Don't risk anything. Will I lose point if I write it with small letters? Why would you do that? If it is shows you here like with the capital letters, write it with capital letters. B. Many farmers have seized the opportunity to maximize the planting of oil palm trees between the global land area devoted to growing from 6 to 17 millions, accounting 10% of co-plants in the entire world, from a mere 2 million tons of palm oil being produced annually globally 50 years ago. Now there are now around 60 million tons produced every single year, a figure looking likely to double or even triple by the middle of the century. 18. Figures illustrating the rapid expansion of palm oil industry. B. This one is easier, right? Let's continue. C. However, there are multiple reasons why conservationists cite the rapid spread of oil palm plantation as a major concern. There are countless news stories of deforestation, habitat destruction, and the wind-linked species populations, all as a direct result of a land clearing to establish oil palm tree monoculture on an industrial scale, particularly in Malaysia and Indonesia. Endangered species, most famously the Sumatran orangutan, but also rhinos, elephants, tigers, and numerous other fauna, have suffered from the unstoppable spread of oil palm plantation. This is from passage 1. It looks like so, right? But I have written that it's from reading passage 2 and the questions are from 14 to 26, so probably this is from passage 2. 20. What is 20? Examples of creatures badly affected? Yes. Let's continue with D. Palm oil is surely one of the greatest threats to global biodiversity. Palm oil is replacing rainforest, and rainforest is where all the species are. That's a problem. This has led to some radical questions among environmentalists, such as whether consumers should try to boycott palm oil entirely. Meanwhile, someone argues it is easy to that palm oil is the enemy and we should be against. It is easy to say that palm oil is the enemy and we should be against it. It makes for a dramatic story and it is very intuitive. But given the complexity of the argument, I think a much more nuanced story is closer to the truth. How about D? Okay, 15D. Let's continue with E. One response to the boycott movement has been the argument for the vital role in the palm oil plays in lifting many millions of people in the developing world out of poverty. Is it desirable to have a palm oil boycott replaced or eliminated from the global supply chain, given how many low-income people in developing countries depend on it for their livelihoods? How best to strike an utilitarian balance between these competing factors has become a serious bone of contention. Very good, Jaipa. $19. An economic certification for not opposing the palm oil industry. Two lefts. FGH. Okay. Oof. Even the deforestation argument isn't straightforward as it seems. Oil palm plantations produce at least 4 and potentially up to 10 times more oil per hectare than soybean, rapeseed, sunflower, or other competing oils. That immensely high yield, which is predominantly what makes it so profitable, it potentially also an ecological benefit. If 10 times more palm oil can be produced from a patch of land than any competing oil, then 10 times more land will need to something. As for questioning the carbon emission, the issue replacing crops, sequester carbon, the amount of carbon they capture from atmosphere and store within the plant. Climate change actually sequesters more carbon in some ways than other alternatives. Hmm. 14. Oh, we have different answers. Uh, 19, we have 17, 14, 18. Let me see. But mostly we are saying 14. Examples of a range of potential, yes. Yes, I think so too. Which paragraph is it? F. Whomever says 14 is right. Examples of what is 18? Figure, no. Okay, let's continue. G. The industry is now regulated by a group called Roundtable on Sustainable Palm Oil, RSPO. RSPO. Consisting of palm growers, retailers, product manufacturers, and other interested parties. Over the past decade or so, an agreement has gradually been reached regarding the standard sustainable. The RSPO insists upon no virgin first clearing, transparency, and regular assessment of carbon stocks, among other criteria. Only once these requirements are fully satisfied is the oil allowed to be sold as certified sustainable palm oil. Recent figures show that the RSPO now certificate around 12 million tons of palm oil annually, equivalent to roughly 21% of the world's total palm oil production. What do you think? Right. Now we have description of an organization which controls the environmental impact on palm oil production. What was it? G? Yes, it was G. Reference to a particular species that will benefit the ecosystem of oil palm plantation. There is even hope that green deserts. The bird's nest fern, Asplenium nidus, grows on trees meaning it's dependent on the tree only for support, not for nutrients. It is native to many tropical regions where it is the keystone species, vital ecologic role, bird's nest fern into oil palm, their biodiversity providing a home for all manner of species from fungi and bacteria to insects, amphibians, reptiles, and even mammals. Very good. And this is H. Let's submit it. Submit. Yes, very good. We have solved 15 questions in for 52 minutes, and it involves my tips and strategies too. Very good. Uh-oh. Now, I know it's a long time, but yes, I'm explaining it, I'm reading it out loud. When you are reading it to yourself, it will be shorter. Don't worry. But keep in mind that reading section has 40 questions, so you should speed it up. Now, my dear students, we have a user survey that I have sent the link to you. I would be very glad. I would be very glad if you can fill out this form. It will take a little time, and in the sorry, in the page in the page 4 you will see an what is it, You will see a question relating to a video interview to help us learn better about the user experience. We really want you to participate in these video interviews so we can have a better understanding of you, of the students. So if you want to participate in this video interview, please write your email address so we can contact with you. And from the interviews, we will give 30-minute lesson, 30 minutes lesson for free if you participate in this video interview. Me and my colleague will conduct the interview. So this is to understand your experience better because we are a new company.